Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and today we're going to be focusing on an updated hero deck. And I know I said updated, but let's face it, if you've seen one hero deck profile, you've basically seen them all, because every competitive hero deck is basically the same 30-ish cards. You have room for maybe like either if you want to focus on breaking your opponent's board or if you want to play hand traps, but you don't really have much else you can actually do with the deck for now. Konami main deck master heroes win. I'm starving for content over here. So if you could get those to us as soon as possible, that'd be great. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's just jump straight to the deck profile. Now, as always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first. So we're of course going to be starting the hero deck profile off with Elemental Hero Stratos. We're only playing 2 copies, and on summon, whether it's normal or special summoned, you can either add a hero or you can pop spells and traps equal to the number of other face-up hero monsters. It literally does not matter if you play 2 or 3 for the most part. But if you decide to play 3, that typically means you're playing 1 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, and if you decide to play 2 Stratos, that means you're playing 2 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. I just value Shadow Mist more as like a resource management, or like as a way to get your resources back more consistently and just start your combos off better, because much like Stratos, when it's sent to the grave, it searches out any hero monster. But we honestly care more about the first effect, where if it's special summon, you get to search out a mass change, because that in turn gives you pretty much instant access to Darklaw. And much like every other format, this one is pretty much the same, where every other deck, for the most part, is extremely graveyard reliant. So if you're able to get the Darklaw out in a lot of situations, that's just the game right then and there. So yeah, 2 Shadow Mist for me. I really enjoy it more than 3-1. Then for the other heroes, you play the 1 Elemental Hero Neos to go into your Wingman combos, the 1 Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, which is pretty much going to be your main fusion fodder, as when it uses material for your fusion summon, you get to draw 2 cards and discard a card. But sometimes you can make an argument for normal summoning it to be able to reborn any level 4 or lower hero monster from your graveyard, especially if you're going for like the Fusion Destiny 1-card Darklaw play, where you end up searching the Liquid Soldier and then normal summoning it to special summon the Shadow Mist to get the mass change. And then for the final hero, I'm still rocking the 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman. I know pretty much no one else is, and that's perfectly fine, you know. I just really enjoy it because I feel it's pretty much the only card that allows you to consistently play through Dimension Shifter, which is still seeing a decent amount of play. And that's because it doesn't rely on you having a hero monster in the graveyard to search out Polymerization. All you have to do is normal or special summon it, and you have access to Poly pretty much immediately. As for its other effect, where you get to Foolish a hero, and then you don't get to special summon for the rest of this turn except fusion monsters, yeah, we're never using that effect. Even though this is primarily a fusion-based deck, that effect does turn off so many other summons that it's just not worth using for the most part. This is literally just there to get out Polymerization, and that's it. And that's it for the Elemental Hero lineup. And then for the Vision heroes, extremely standard. You play the 3 faris, the 2 vyon, and the 2 increase. It doesn't matter how many increases you play. 3, 2, 1, you're going to dead draw on all of them. That's just the life of a hero player. And then to accompany those dead draws, we're going to be playing 3 Destiny Hero Malicious as well. You know, they gave us a 3rd one back, so we're obviously going to be taking advantage of it. And the 3rd Malicious does actually matter somewhat, because the deck can now consistently end on like Darklaw, Plasma, and DPE, which before it had to work a little bit harder, but because we have the extra Malicious, we now have the extra fodder to just pretty much accomplish that almost every time, which is, you know, pretty good in my opinion. And then we have the 1 Destiny Hero Denier, which is basically copy number 4 and 5 of Destiny Hero Malicious, because it's providing a body itself, and then it recycles a Malicious as well. So yeah, you got to play the 1 Denier. And then for the final monster in the deck, we're just playing the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma. A 1-sided skill drain is pretty solid. It's pretty much always going to be backed by Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, which means that your opponent's not going to be able to beat over it. We don't play anything else. Like, I enjoy Crosskeeper, but it's not really needed. I hate Dark Angel. Everyone's still playing a Link 1, especially Snake Eyes decks. They just go into Relinquished Anima, and the same can be said for Voiceless Voice. It's just not worth it. But yeah, as far as like the monster lineup goes, this is perfectly fine. I feel like you don't need any more than this. So with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion of the deck. Now, the spell and trap portion of the deck is basically just a bunch of good cards that help us start our combos, just like every other deck. So we're going to be playing 3 A Hero Lives. Ideally, you get to open this card every single time, just because it's literally the perfect starter, right? You pay half your life points, and if you control, and you must control no face-up monsters to activate this, but you get access to either Stratos, Blazeman, or Shadow Mist. And sometimes, you know, you can also summon out Liquid Soldier if your hand is already cracked enough. But for the most part, those first 3 are going to be the main targets for this. And it literally just, it's a perfect play starter. And then to accompany that, you're playing 3 Fusion Destiny. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. This card should ideally be used as like a last resort, just because like with the way that the modern hero deck plays, you have so many different types of attributes that you do not want to lock yourself into darks. Even so, this card is a 1-card DPE plasma now, or it's always been, but it's even more consistent now because we have the third malicious, and it's still a phenomenal card. Just try not to use it until like the very end so you actually get the full use out of your entire deck. Then for the final 3 of, we're playing 3 triple tactics talent. Hand traps are still everywhere, and whether you're going first or second, talents is just a phenomenal card at helping you break boards or just tear apart your opponent's hand, helping you draw and thin out your deck a little bit more. It pretty much just does it all. This card is so good. And that's it for the 3 ofs. And for the 2 ofs, you play 2 forbidden droplets to help accompany your triple tactics talent. And honestly, I could consider bumping this up to 3 just because with the current Tempai deck, forbidden droplet is probably one of like the main ways that we can actually fight against it, just because we just need to hold it until the damage step so that we can actually, you know, effectively use it and help ensure that we actually hopefully get to survive a turn. But yeah, forbidden droplet, solid card. Other 2 ofs, I'm still really enjoying double polymerization, just so that you can potentially open up with it a little bit more so you're not as reliant on cards like Vyon or Blazeman. And as long as you have 2 heroes, you can pretty much always play as long as you have Poly. And then you're also playing 2 mass change for the final 2 ofs. And when it comes to the spells, if you end up going first, we side the 3rd mass change, right? So if you end up going first, you put the 3rd one in so you can get to Dark Law more easily. And if you go second, this provides like an easy side out for at least 1 copy. So, you know, it's just a good middle ground to play 2. And then you adjust it for the following games. And then for the final spells, which are the 1 ofs, you play the 1 Called by the Grave to accompany your talents, the 1 Reinforcement of the Army, and the 1 Miracle Fusion, which you're pretty much always going to be searching off a Sunrise, hopefully. And that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we just play 3, the 2 Infinite Impermanence, and the 1 Favorite Contact to try and special summon Shining Neo Swingman during opponent's turn and hopefully seal the game off of that. And with that, that's the main deck, 40 cards like always, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now, as far as the extra deck is concerned, I've basically made no changes just because I feel like it's fine as is. So, as a result, we're still playing the 1 number 41 Bagooska. Like I said, this is literally just there for shifter and draw, or if your hand's garbage. But if your hand's garbage, you're probably going to lose the game anyways. So, this is literally just a very, very last resort card. And it pretty much never works, if I'm being honest. They always have the imperm to stop it, but you know, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Then for the links, you play the 2 extra hero Cross Crusaders to bring back your D heroes and then tribute those D heroes to search out any hero. You play the 1 extra hero Infernal Devicer to search out Neos. And then you play the 1 extra hero Wonder Driver to be able to reset any of your fusion spells and traps. And this is probably one of like the biggest changes that I would make, because I'm always considering if I want to play 1 or 2. But since we played 2 Polymerization, you can be a little bit more conservative and not have to burn this card on turn 1. Even so, you know, still really solid, and this is probably like just one of the things that I'm always considering in the back of my mind. And then for the fusions, you play the 1 Dangerous for the 1 card Dark Claw play where you send Mali and Shadow Mist, but you don't trigger the Shadow Mist. Then you go Mali, link into Cross Crusader, bring back any D hero, doesn't matter, tribute that D hero for liquid, normal the liquid, special the Shadow Mist, search out mass change. You know, baby. Literally so easy, a baby can do it. You play the 1 Destiny Hero Dystopia. This is basically just a time card because decks take a very long time. Not our deck, but every other deck still takes forever for their combos, so you have to play something like this even though I don't really enjoy it. Then you play the 1 Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer because DPE is a very, very good card. It lowers your opponent's stats for every hero in your graveyard. It's able to come back or just bring back any D hero when it's been destroyed. Yeah, this card... and that's during the next standby phase, obviously, not immediately. This card just does so much, and it's such a pain for most players to get rid of. And then for the Elemental Hero fusions, you play the 1 Elemental Hero Escuridao. This is literally just there for when you get locked in by Fusion Destiny, because it does happen pretty frequently, and this is going to be pretty much the only hero that we can make immediately after. But it does have some other uses as well, where sometimes you just need a Dark Law target, right? So you make this, you can attack with it, and then you match change it into Dark Law, and then hopefully that's enough to win the game. But yeah, you don't need any of the other Omni heroes. Maybe Absolute Zero, but at this point, they're all pretty outdated for the most part. Like I said, we're literally just using this one because it's dark. And then you have the 1 Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage. This is pretty much the main reason why we use Neos, as on summon it's able to search out any favorite card, and we're always going to be adding favorite contact. And then if you use Neos as like a material for its fusion summon, you get to distribute this to special summon your elemental hero Sunrise, who on special summon will search out your miracle fusion. And then in addition to that, it also boosts your entire field by 200 for every monster with a different attribute control. And if a hero monster besides Sunrise battles, you get to pop a card on the field. So yeah, pretty solid. Then you have your elemental hero Shining Neos Wingman. You're pretty much just making this during your opponent's turn with favorite contact to blow up their field and ensure that you can win the game. But it does have some other really cool effects where it gains attack for every monster in your graveyard. It can't be destroyed by card effect, so if you have like Enforcer on the field, you can go Enforcer, pop your Shining Neos Wingman for free. And I mean, Enforcer's always free if you pop him because he always comes back. But at least this way you can keep the Enforcer on the field to continuously lower your opponent's monster's attack. But yeah, and then much like the original Wingman, it can also burn your opponent for the monster that it battles with once it destroys it. And then we play the one Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. It's fine. It gets additional attacks for every fusion monster used as a material for it. It gains 300 attack for every material used, and then much like Shining Neos Wingman, when it battles, it destroys that opponent's monster and then it burns them. So, you know, pretty cool. And then for the other effect that pretty much never comes up because your opponent's always going to be dead by then, if it's destroyed, well, if this fusion summon card is destroyed, you get a special summon a hero or warrior monster from your deck. So in this one, ideally, you're probably just going to be special summoning Shadow Mist a lot of the time to get the Mass Change or the Dark Claw. But even so, you know, you got to play the one. And then for the final hero monster, we're of course going to be ending it with Masked Hero Dark Claw. It's an auto win in so many matchups if you can get access to it, even though it does only have 2400 and it still loses to Dino Wrestler Bankertops, if anyone's playing that. But yeah, with that, that's the hero deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!